Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the Pro Play Games Miami Treasure Cup that happened this past weekend. It was 9 rounds of Swiss on day 1 with a day 2 top 16 that we see here today. And real quick, a couple of shoutouts before we get started. So first, the Google Sheet might look a little bit different today because it's actually my own website. This is one of my big 10K surprises. We're like a dozen away as a recording, and I didn't want to wait any longer, so we're dropping it today. We're probably going to hit 10K as soon as this video drops. So really excited for that, and thank you guys for doing that. If you want to be the 10Kth one to subscribe, you probably have a chance if you're watching this at like the first couple minutes. So anyways, we're gonna have a bunch of these archives, like just event archives going on in this channel for One Piece, Digimon, Dragon Ball, pretty much all my videos, so you don't have to go find the sheets. They should be all in one spot. So for example, we're gonna go here to One Piece. We can see all the romance done. They're gonna be divided by meta, and like here are the 3 events that I've done already. So should be really exciting. If you guys have any issues, please let me know. This is my first website. I'm gonna probably go over it more in my 10K video that'll be dropping pretty soon after this one, and I'm really excited, so hope you guys are too. So anyways, going into this event, I do also want to shout out Pro Play Games for also not only giving us the deck list but also the leader breakdown that we have today. They did also stream this event, so it is on Twitch, and they are also uploading it to their YouTube, which is linked here as well. They were not able to do the top 16 for day 2 just because the internet was spotty, so they did record it locally, so that will be uploaded on their YouTube as well. So if you guys want to see any action, make sure to check them out there and to check out their future events as well. And just big shout outs to just the whole team, the commentators, the judges, just everyone. It looked like it was a really cool event. So going into the leaders themselves, though, we do have this top 16 of 9 whole Usus kids, which is a pretty good chunk. And then we do have also 2 Luffys beating out all the Zoros. I think, can you guys believe me that Luffy's better than Zoro right now? Like, because like 88 people played Zoro, only 67 played Luffy, and 2 Luffy got top 16 no Zoros. I don't know. I think is it time? Let me know. We also have 2 Trafalgar Laws, 2 Kaidos, and a single Doffy as well. So really kind of cool to see a range of stuff. But yeah, Usus Kid, man, took such a big chunk of this pie this week, and I'm not sure really why that is. We didn't see it take as much in the first week, last week, between Long Beach, Birmingham, and Niagara Falls. Sorry, I had to remember those. And it was like probably the most representative. Most of them, it was definitely the leader that most people take. I think that's still pretty consistent for these events, but it's interesting to see just how much more of this pie it took. So we're going to go over the top placing list for each of these leaders, and we're going to start off with Aandroidd Dovale's first place Captain Kid. Starting off, we have Aandroidd Dovale's first place Usus Kid, and for people not in the Dragon Ball Super scene, Aandroidd Dovale is probably the most accomplished Dragon Ball Super player in the last 2 years. He won North American Nationals last year, he won the World event last year, and he won this year's National event to kind of uphold the title, not only for Nationals, which he won, but also for Worlds this year. So a very, very good card game player, also getting top 32 in the My Hero Academia Worlds as well. So no stranger to card games, and so taking first with this list is not a surprise to me for that. Just a very, very accomplished player. So looking at this list, I will say there's nothing too surprising out of it. I think it's pretty solid for what it is. I know a lot of players are starting to opt into the X-Drake, which is something I don't think has been seen as much, but it has been in the last week or so. Choosing to choose a couple of these event cards, and something else that I've noticed in his build too compared to others, it's a little greedy. It's greedy in the sense that there's a lot of cards that don't have any counter power, specifically 4 Okiku, 4 Trafalgar Law, and then a 2-3 split between the kids, as well as just 2 additional event cards. So I have not watched much of this event, so I will have to kind of see how he plays, and definitely we'll have to find out how the finals went as well once that goes live on the PPG channel. But very, very interesting to see just how many potential cards could be dead in hand. Also, like 3 beige, which is really interesting. That's almost always a 4 for everyone. So it was just really striking to me to see it at 3. And also Law at 4. And most people play 2 or less of this card, and he's running it at full 4, which is really interesting. So very, very strong player with a very strong deck. Not a surprise for this first place. And congrats to Andrew on their finish there. Next up, we have Caban's second place Trafalgar Law. And this is definitely a leader that is no stranger to top cut placements and even finals in these past couple weeks. We did see it get first place in Birmingham. It got second place in Long Beach. And then this week it got second place again. So a very, very strong leader. leader. You do have to be very, very good at it. I'd say it's probably the hardest leader to play in the format right now. And we saw with the leader breakdown for last week and this week that it's not played by a lot of players, but it is still getting a lot of tops, in comparison to how many people are playing it as well. So very strong. You do have to be adapting to a lot of your matchups. I'd say this leader specifically plays different against every other leader in the game compared to how others plays. A lot of them are just like linear. So this is a very non-linear leader. And if you enjoy like complex plays and always having the potential to find the route to victory, I think this is definitely a leader you can spend a lot of time on. So the interesting choices from Caban, since you also do have like twice as much cards in the card pool, and most kind of Trafalgar Law lists that I've seen are pretty unique in ratios, and card choices are so it just has like cards like this Gordon here. So activate main, you may return this to the bottom of your deck to give one of your opponent's characters minus 3k. So obviously it does pair very nicely with the Nico Robin, which you're playing for, which is quite a bit. Not most Trafalgar Laws that I see are not on the Nico Robin train. They have like one or two, but they don't have it at full 4 like this one does here. It also pairs up really nice with Jet Pistol, obviously, which is a nice thing there. And also just talking about event cards, running 3 Radical Beams, not a very common choice for the Trafalgar Laws right now. And personally, I don't like the card in my own practice just because like you do want to try to put a bunch of bodies on the board, and Radical Beam can mean something where like, oh, if I had a battle card or a character card, I would be able to play it and get the Trafalgar Law effect off. But at the same token, this can be used really nicely to prevent one of your other cards from dying, and that can be very strong too. So I understand the idea for, obviously you're going to go down to 2 life very quickly in this leader, especially if you take the first couple hits, and I could see it be very, very strong on the defense side too. So other than that, the 8-drop kid I think is a decision point, and it's one that I usually like to go down. Just the fact that it's a really, really good way to prevent your opponent from winning, and like if you're trying to be more control mid-rangey, like this seems more of like a mid-range control variant of the deck, just from the inclusions of the Nico Robins and 3 Jet Pistol. Some play only like 2, and just all the other cards with it. I think this deck kind of wants to go for the long game and just kind of get as many resources as you can and kind of drain your opponent from them. So that's pretty much what my idea for this deck is. If that's wrong, I'll let you guys know, but I think this is a really cool build for it. So next up, we have Albert Mason's top 4 Luffy list. And if you guys are a fan of this channel, you guys probably know that I really think Luffy is probably the strongest red deck that we have right now. It's been doing really well these past couple weeks, and even with less people playing it than Zoro, I think it's been topping more consistently and getting just higher placements in general. So including winning the Long Beach event. So if that can't convince you that Luffy's almost as good as Zoro, if not better, I don't know what will. So, but this list is pretty similar to what I've been running. If I was to choose playing this list or Andrew Duvall's first place list in a tournament, I'd totally choose this one. And there's a lot of cool little things for it. So first, you guys have swayed me. All right, one or 2 of this Navi's fine. I think it's okay. It's like a good turn 1 play. Otherwise, it's a 1k counter, so it's okay. I don't like that your 1-drop Nami, other one can't find it, but it's essentially always a 2k because you always get a Dawn underneath it, so that's fine. I've been swayed. You guys win that one in the comment section, so I think it's fine for what it is, and it does help contribute to some additional power throughout the game. We also do have, that's pretty much like the big difference. We're big Beppo stands here. Only 1 Trafalgar Law, which is fine. I've been running it like 2 lately just to kind of fit some other stuff. 3 Ben Beckman and 3 Shanks. Pretty popular cards now. I think a lot of people are realizing the power of these 2, and that like if you get to drop it when you're being more of a mid-range deck, you sometimes just kind of win for it. And then the only kind of differences are from the event cards. 3 Red Hawks is a little bit much for me personally, especially since people kind of know this card exists now. I don't think it was as kind of on the radar as much in the last 2 weeks, but I think people know about it. They can and will play around it with putting Dawn underneath stuff preemptively. Obviously, that does mean like if they put Dawn underneath for this and then they hit a Jet Pistol in your life, you feel pretty good about it. But it's just okay. Sometimes you get like a random 1-drop blocker pop with it, which is really nice. And it's just okay. I'd probably run it too, but sometimes you also just win with the trigger in your life, especially if they're trying to go for game with their Eustace Kid leader or something like that, and that can be pretty invaluable as well. Round table, I always find this card dead in hand, like always. I'm surprised they still run it. I tried this card. I don't like it, but hey, I didn't get top 4 in an event, so what do I know? So that is the list, though. This is almost, I say like there's like a 5-card difference. Let's see. There's like a 3-4 card difference from what I've been playing. I think the deck like this is really strong, and I'm really, really happy to get a top 4. So congrats to Albert for getting that Luffy in the top 4. I really appreciate it. And next up, we do have Kevin Lee with this top 8 Kaido here, and one of they're both Kaido lists are actually, this one's pretty standard. This is pretty standard. The other Kaido list was a little weird with its ratios, but one of the cards that it chose was this big old, Urashima. The fact that this is a 7/9, which guess what? It works for Luffy, so why wouldn't it work for the card, for the deck that ramps, which is really interesting. And then pretty standard. Like, not a lot of popping cards, no who's, only 4 kings and just one of the 7-drop kings. So these 4 cards of the kings and Kaidos usually is like the ratios that a lot of people have their own special numbers, but 4, 1, 2, 3 is not something as common. Usually it's like 4, 2 or even 3, 2. Sometimes we even see like 3, 3 and then 2, 3 or something like that. But definitely just one too many times where, you know what, I'd rather just play a card than have like a bunch of cards in my hand that don't have any counter, and it seemed to work pretty well. Jack in here and Sasaki just for your emergency ramp if you don't see your Onigashima. No Thunderbog, was just relying on the blast breaths, and then I'd say pretty standard there. Not a lot for Kaido. I know it's probably going to be good next format too, with just some kind of like weird like one of changes, and like you can change your archetype if you want to, but it's pretty standard from here. So just congrats to Kevin on their finish. I think Kaido's still good, but obviously it's an RNG fest at sometimes, so someone's got to get it. Anyways, lastly, we do have Manuel Martinez, top 16 Doffy. We did see a lot of Doffy in the top 16 of Long Beach last week, and this one's a little bit different in a lot of ways. I'd say that the 2 of the top placing ones were pretty similar, but this one's pretty different. Specifically, it's because it's running more of the Sentomaru package, something that not as many people are running, at least for my... I tried it at first. I thought I liked it. I thought I'd get a lot of value, but I just found it kind of bricky at times, but this version definitely just kind of doubles down on it. So it has 3 Sentomarus, it has the Kuma, of course, it has 2 Pacifista blockers, and then also 3 of the Pacifistas, just vanillas, and then more of what you probably standardly choose. So 3 Trafalgar Laws, Perona, Vita, 3 drop Doffy, 3 Martial D Teach instead of 4, which I know a lot of people run, but obviously I think it's a dead card and probably a good amount of matchups. It's not super good. Boa Hancock, as well as then Gecko Moria, 2 Virgo, 2 Donkey, 2 Doflamingo, and only 2 Mihawk, which is pretty low considering like a lot of the other decks I've seen have been running 3 or even 4 of this card, and then also just 2 copies of Love Beam with no Desert Spada. So I think this is a really interesting build of the deck. I'm happy to see that we got a Doffy in this top 16, and I'm gonna have to try this out a little bit myself. I did try the Pacifista line. I didn't find it too useful, but if it tops of an event, maybe you gotta try this one out specifically. So big congrats to Manuel on their top 16, and that is going to be it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out the website. If you have any issues, let me know in the comments. It's obviously still a work in progress, but I'm really excited to launch this. And thank you guys for hitting 10K subs. We're probably hitting it pretty soon. We're going to make another video for it, but just as a pre-recording, I'm really excited for it. So thank you guys very much. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you all next time.